Chunwana.
I'm Labika Rawood. For more information on the work that we do and how you can help us to help others, please visit our website www.secondchances.org.za.
In Junior Achievement South Africa, its focus is really to expose youngsters within high school and out of school to entrepreneurial thinking, and ours is focused at high school from grade 10 to 12.
I'm very big on youth empowerment and making a difference and touching lives and impacting the lives of our young people. That's practically what I do with my foundation as well, and ever since I was crowned as Miss SA.
The goal of the magazine is to basically share information that will be able to assist small business owners.
You're listening to The Social Show with Viwe Chilwana
And Labika Rawood, live on brandlive.co.za. Welcome to your daily dose of The Social Show, and today you are joined by none other than myself, Viwe, and
Labika Rawood.
Labiko.
Labika.
Okay. Okay. As usual, we're going to start the day off with some news.
Okay, the Army and Navy are being deployed along the South Cape Coast to stop thousands of poachers from raiding dwindling abalone stocks. A task force that includes the SANDF, the SA Revenue Service, the Department of Home Affairs, the Police, and the Department of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries will be deployed in areas such as Gansbaai and Pearly Beach. Local authorities will also be involved. A source close to the operation said its focus was on visible policing and keeping poachers out of the water. This is the second time in 3 years that troops have been used in campaigns against poaching. Beverly Schaefer, the chairman of the Standing Committee for Economic Opportunities, Tourism and Agriculture in the Western Cape, said abalone smuggling was a national security threat. She said the authorities were losing the war on abalone poaching, resulting in the need for extraordinary measures.
Recently, the National Council of Persons with Physical Disabilities in South Africa hosted the annual Fun Run and Walk event. The 5-kilometer run was held at Johannesburg Zoo in Parktown in celebration of National Children's Day to raise nappies and awareness of rights for children with disabilities. The first runner-up of Mr. South Africa 2016, Mornay Marius, hosted the event, which was attended by over 300 runners and walkers who eagerly took on the challenge to complete the 5-kilometer in support of the cause. Over 10,000 nappies were collected at the event from individuals, corporates, and society groups. Vodacom Bulls mascot Bullicky made a special appearance and also joined in on the walk with the participants. The winner runner was awarded a brunch voucher for two at the Four Seasons Hotel in Westcliff, and the best dressed nappy run participant won a Vodacom Blue Bulls t-shirt signed by the rugby team. The event was a highlight of the Nappy Run campaign, which is set to run throughout November and aims to raise 50,000 nappies, which will be distributed to care centres and families of children with disabilities throughout the country. The campaign has been running annually since 2011 and has raised over 500,000 nappies. This year's Nappy Run was supported by sponsors Marsh and Rebosis Property Fund.
Impact Recycling has called upon consumers to take greater care when disposing of their refuse. They are urging consumers to separate recyclable plastic bottles and other recyclable items at home instead of relying on recyclers to do so at landfill. By that time, the plastic is often too contaminated with items such as soil to be recycled, said Ronald Fairbanks, who is the GM at Impact Polymers. Considerable progress has been made to increase the recycled proportion of polyethylene terephthalate in the manufacturing of new plastic bottles. An increase in the percentage of recycled PET bottles is conditional upon two things: improving the industry's capacity to recycle, which has been achieved by Impact Polymers PET recycling operation, and by improving the quality of PET being processed in the operation. With consumers ideally separating recyclables at source, they can ensure that the bottles do not end up in landfills as part of the municipal waste collection process, which ultimately prevents them from becoming too contaminated to be recycled. With the formal sector's increased investments into new recycling capacity, Impact Polymers operation accounts for 85 direct jobs and indirectly, an anticipated 1,000 additional jobs are expected to be created within the recycling industry. This would be because of a greater demand for collectors, small businesses and buyback centres.
Deserving conservationists were recognized by the South African National Parks, supported by Total SA and First National Bank at the 12th SANParks Kudu Awards ceremony. The Kudu Awards recognizes internal and external stakeholders for their vital contribution in making South African national parks the custodian of choice for the national park system in South Africa. These awards honor people for their meaningful contributions to the protection of the environment through various means, which reflects society's admirable social responsibility, giving meaning to the SANParks vision of a sustainable national park system connecting the society. As part of the award, SANParks board chairperson Joanne Yawich bestowed a lifetime contribution award to Anna Kamfer from Karoo National Park in the Western Cape. Kamfer joined Kalahari Transfrontier Park in 1978 before moving to Karoo National Park. She has loyally served SANParks for 38 years and has helped make Karoo National Parks one of the best national parks in South Africa.
This year, from 25 November to 10 December, South Africa observes 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children, which is an international awareness-raising campaign. South Africa adopted the campaign in 1998 as one of the intervention strategies towards creating a society free of violence. The campaign continues to raise awareness among South Africans about the negative impact of violence against women and children on all members of the community. This year is no different and marks an especially important date, coinciding with the 20th anniversary since the signing of the Constitution on 10 December. Brown Lekekela, the founder of Green Door, a victim reception center for victims of abuse and sexual violence in Diepsloot, is going to be running an awareness campaign of his own. The Green Door will be activating the community around 16 days by engaging with the community through the following tools, which is speaking out and encouraging people to not remain silent about the issue, and also for parents to teach their children on how to create a safe or how to have a safe environment. So wear a white ribbon from 25 November to show your support of activism for no violence against women and children. And if you would like to support the Green Door activations by assisting with sanitary packs or anything else, contact Brown on brownlekekela@gmail.com.
During a ceremony in Washington, D.C. this Wednesday, the U.S. Department of Interior announced it was canceling 15 energy exploration leases on land that is sacred to Native Americans. The Badger 2 Medicine area is an area of wilderness stretching along the Montana mountain line that is home to the Blackfeet people. For the last 10,000 years, Blackfeet members have found cultural identity in the acres of the Badger 2 Medicine land. The tribe has vehemently protested and opposed the land leases since they were signed without their consultation almost 30 years ago. The oil and natural gas company in question, Devon Energy Corp., acquired the land leases after merging with another company. Company president David Hadja surrendered the land after acknowledging the pristine landscape was not theirs to invade. The process of fracking that would have gleaned the natural gas could also have harmed the water supply, which is in close proximity to the leased parcel. There are 2 land leases left on the Holy Land that are still owned by the energy companies, but the U.S. Department of Interior Secretary Sally Jewell is determined to prevent them from drilling on the Blackfeet territory. And that's it from us in terms of news. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with the topics for the day.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za, an industry first in the world of internet radio. Not only are we an internet radio station, we are an internet radio platform for your brand. So why not expose your brand to potentially thousands of listeners and improve your customer relationships and brand equity with podcasts and live broadcasts? Be sure to check brandlive.co.za for more information. brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of internet radio.
Okay, so every Tuesday, we try and just shine the light on organizations in the country that are really, really doing phenomenal things.
Definitely.
Now, our organization of choice today is SOS Villages. Now, I'm not sure if everyone's too familiar with SOS Villages. Now, it's a non-profit organization that takes care and provides a safe haven for vulnerable children. The first village was opened in 1982, and since then they've cared for over 24,000 children over the years. They have over 100 villages all around the world. I mean, they're based in India, America, South Africa. I think they have 2 villages in Johannesburg. I think one is in Ennerdale, and I'm not sure where the other one is. I think the other one is in Pretoria. I just need to double check that. But yes, they work for children who are orphaned, abandoned, or whose families are unable to care for them, and they give these children the opportunity to build lasting relationships within a family. Now, yesterday I got to interview the MD, Stephen Miller, and let's just hear what he had to say about SOS Villages.
At SOS Children's Villages, we're all about the family. We believe that every child should grow up in a family with love, respect, and security. So what we try to do as an organization is to provide a home for children who are abandoned or neglected or abused, and we do this in the Children's Village. So essentially, in the South African context, it's a child and youth care center. So it's a place where these children come to us through the courts, and we provide a home. We have what we call a mother, who is a child and youth care worker, and that mother is there 24/7. So she becomes the mother of these children in the village. There's normally about 6 or 8 of them in a house, and there's normally between 10 to 15 houses in a village. And she provides that continuity and that love and that respect that these children really need. As an organization working in this field, what we're always trying to do is reunite those children where possible with their biological families. So a child and youth care center should always be a place of last resort, and it should always be temporary. Every 2 years, the courts are supposed to review that order that put the child in our village, and then hopefully we're able to reunite. It doesn't always work out that way, unfortunately, and so some of the children that come to us when they're very young stay with us all the way through. So that's what we do essentially. That's our core work, but we also do a lot of work in communities, because in South Africa, the trends at the moment are negative, to be honest, for the state of the child in this country. The extended family is breaking down in many parts because of the way people move around, because of the urbanization trends. A lot more children are finding themselves neglected. And so our work, if we were just to care for these children as they came to us, that's not enough. We have to actually go out and try to build strength in families so that breakdown doesn't happen in the first place. And that's a tremendously difficult thing to do. Even within the same community, in the same part of the country, you knock on one door, you have a particular situation, you knock on another, you have something completely different. It's a very difficult environment to work, but if it wasn't difficult, then there would be no reason for an organization like ourselves.
Wow, I really enjoyed that from Stephen, right?
Yeah.
You know what I love about this specific NGO is just the fact that a lot of, child-headed homes and grandmother-headed households, that's what they actually target. And they look at, children who are looking after other children. And what happens is if a child doesn't get out of that cycle or gets out of that sort of same nature, it becomes something that's so prevalent. It sort of births more and more of the same situation. So if a child at a young age is able to say, oh, okay, I have a home or a village that I can go to, that I can sort of go and find a job later on, or I can really be self-sufficient, it breaks that cycle of poverty. And that's what it's about. It's about really looking at, abandoned children, but also dealing with them at a grassroots level, at a level that is going to change their lives, change the way they think, and change the way that they sort of understand family dynamics in general.
True. And that is what I liked about what Stephen said is, he mentioned that they go into the communities and, they try and reunite the children with their families, wherever they can. And that's very important, especially when children go to orphanages, they end up there and they're not in touch, with their family and that kind of thing. But with SOS Villages, they try and really reunite the kids with their families, and that's very important. I mean, you need your family.
Definitely. Definitely in a country that's so culturally diverse, your cultural capital is very important to really knowing who you are in the world. When you're so far removed, you get to forget it. What I also actually found out is that, the kids get to stay beyond the age of 18. So if you are, taken in, you are able to be there until you're 25, which I think is amazing, really, because a lot of the time you find that by 18, you have to go and find a job. You have to go and find, your way around, which is a good thing because it makes them a little bit more independent. But if you can't and you're struggling, 25 is also sort of a good age to go. And they also have said that, however, if, an orphan is handicapped, they're allowed to stay a little bit longer. So you find that a lot of them end up staying at the village for a little bit longer than you'd expect a normal NGO to take in an orphan for.
That's true. And they also teach the children they have various skills training workshops. So the cool thing about them is when you're 18 or 16, you would have probably attended an arts class or any other workshops that they give to you. And I mean, by the time you leave there, you can look for a job within that specific field, so and I mean, when you're 18, you don't even know what you're going to do with your life. I remember when I finished matric, I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to study?
Exactly.
And so many orphanages that I know of, I mean, when the children are 18, they have to find their own way. So the cool thing about
you're skilled by the time you leave, right?
Yes, and you can leave, whenever you really can, and that's really important. That's really great, and it's one of a kind. It's really one of a kind because not so many orphanages have the same as criteria as SOS Villages,
Definitely. And what I also just really want to commend them on is how they sort of boost or encourage their staff members or the mothers that actually work at the orphanage. I know they had a really big tribute to the SOS Mothers for Women's Day, and I found that so humbling because a lot of the time maybe a mother has up to 10 kids they have to look out for.
Yes.
And it's stressful, it's emotionally taxing, you are dealing with immense emotional baggage and trust issues and all these social issues, and these women they do it out of the love in their hearts, but it's very good to know that the organization also says to them, we really appreciate you and we really want to celebrate you, and that's what they did on Women's Day. They really gave them the pat on the back to say we see you and we're so grateful that you guys are raising nations, really. So definitely. I love that they do that because staff morale and making sure that the mothers feel happy and feel appreciated is just one way to make sure that the kids get, a good upbringing and they feel loved and they feel safe because everybody's kind of happy. You know what I mean?
True. Because I know that if you want to qualify as a mother, you have to go for training for 2 to 3 years. So you have to actually physically stay there and interact with the kids, and they'll obviously monitor you because it's a very sensitive matter.
Of course.
You're dealing with kids who have been abused, who are vulnerable, who can't really trust you because they're afraid of, getting
rejection.
Yes, or getting beaten up or whatever the case may be. And actually, yesterday I spoke to Steve and I asked him, what kind of celebrities have really gotten involved with SOS Villages, because you get some organizations that use celebrities as just to get their name out there, because he said they are currently struggling with regards to everyone knowing
awareness.
Knowing about what they do. So he said that they can't just choose any celebrity, so they won't, because everyone knows Kabelo from Expresso, they won't just. They need to really, the person or the celebrity that they choose needs to understand what they do, because you, like I said, you're dealing with such a sensitive matter. So just because everybody knows who you are and you're maybe a rapper who, you know, doesn't have a good reputation, you won't necessarily be qualified to represent SOS Villages. So it's not just any organization, it's not just any orphanage, it's really, really sensitive, it's emotional, it's everything that's attached to SOS Villages. So they really, the people that work for them and the people that represent them, they really carefully
understand.
Yes.
I know that you said when we spoke about it that they are beneficiaries of the KFC. Turan KFC.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That really is. Not too long ago, they actually made a video at one of their villages. I think the one in Innerdale.
Okay.
And they were there for the whole day. So yes, I actually, you know, we all are familiar with the 2 Rand add hope, you know, and sometimes when you go to KFC, they're like, do you want to add hope? And you're like, no, or yes, or whatever the case may be. But you never really, you know, it never really registers that, hey, this money is really used for good, you know. And the fact that they just told me, listen here, we were the beneficiaries. So they, you know, it contributed so KFC contributed so much to them, because they got to feed the kids, and the kids got Happy Meals or packs or whatever they got, and that kind of thing. So it was really great. I mean, they one of the beneficiaries, so there's obviously more. So wow, KFC though. KFC.
Yeah, no, it's very important that, you know, corporates start looking at, you know, really, I think, groundbreaking NGOs like these to really change the way in which we look at you know, taking orphanage. Wow, the words just
orphanages.
Yes, the way we look at abandoned kids and orphanages it's no longer a question of housing a child. It's about raising a child. It's about what goes into the psyche and how you get them to be emotionally stable for the world, how you get them to sort of really understand that the circumstance will not be their circumstances forever, because it's really like it's a mental prison for a lot of children. So I think, you know, SOS is really doing their best, because they're working on so many different levels, from, you know, the physical safety to a more emotional safety.
Definitely. So if you'd like to know more about SOS Villages, please go to sosvillages.org.za, and you can even arrange to visit one of the villages. I think that can be arranged. But yes, also our interview will be on our website, www.social-tv.co.za this week. So please be on the lookout for the full interview with Stephen Miller. But that's it from us with our segment of NGOs that we think are doing great things. Let's take a short break and we'll introduce the topic for our show.
The Social Show is the only show that gives you updated content on all things CSI.
The show will interrogate and report on the latest initiatives that are supported, developed and initiated by the public and private sector.
Hosted by myself, Viwe Cholwana,
and me, Lebika Robert,
every week from 4 to 5 p.m. Hear it on brandlive.co.za.
See it on social-tv.co.za.
brandlive.co.za. Harnessing the power of talk radio. Alrighty, welcome back. And if you didn't know, that was Young Artists Unite featuring Storm in Africa with their song Say No to Xenophobia. Say No to Xenophobia.
Did you think that I did say no? I think that song was created during when xenophobia was so rife last year. It's crazy.
So yes, anyway, if you don't know, you are on the social show rather on brandlive.co.za, and we are going into the topic for the hour. Actually, every Tuesday we look at health and welfare as well as education, and we sort of work through them concurrently. And today our focus will be education, actually. And we know that education, as much as we speak about it and people get are really supporting it financially in South Africa, as all the statistics say, it's really, really a scarce commodity for a lot of people. Actually, a good education rather is a scarce commodity for a lot of people. But today we actually wanted to look at it a little bit more intricately to say, of course, education is hard to get to, especially people in underprivileged communities. But now we are looking at it a little bit more intensely and saying how hard it must be for people in those same communities who are disabled or have learning disabilities. So we are looking into that for the show today.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of effort is required to address the special requirements of students with disabilities. New and informative technologies and appropriate methods of educational and administrative, as well as legislative measures, need to be used to ensure everyone is included.
And I mean, today, assistive technology can help students with certain disabilities learn more effectively, ranging in sophistication from low technologies such as graphic organizer worksheets to high technologies, including cutting-edge software and smartphone apps. Assistive technology is a growing and dynamic field, and several areas of assistive technology and sample products may be found in any given classroom, making a difference in how students of all abilities learn.
Okay. Cool. So now we're going to talk about technology that has really helped disabled communities access education and information.
Definitely.
Right? Now, there are two types of technology I'd like to mention. The one is ICT, which is information communication technology. And that's become the most suitable tool in the field of education to enhance independence and equal opportunities for all. Okay, so that's ICT. Now, AT is assisted technology, which is tools that can be used to allow students with serious sensory impairments such as physical, visual, hearing, cognitive. Hi, Bo, this word. Cognitive impairments, as well as speech, language, and learning impairments for communication, to provide an individual with opportunity and to support lifelong learning for students with disabilities to participate in the educational process based on special techniques and equipment.
It's very important that equipment allows for kids with special abilities to be included in the classroom and feel like they can also engage with, able-bodied or people who don't have any disabilities. So one of the technologies that we're going to talk about today is the JOSA 3. Now, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's called the JOSA 3. Now, it is a sip and puff system that allows children to control the device using any part of their mouth, cheek, chin or tongue. Now, due to its accuracy and quick response, home users can also use it for drawing or computer games. It can mount to a desktop, or a bed frame or any other structure, and it does not require a headpiece or placement on the body of the user. It can also support one or two external switches and has two types of mouth pieces. Now, this is very important. Some kids don't have limbs. They can't use their hands. They can't necessarily use anything except like their mouths or their chins. I've seen people try to write with their chins, and I'm like, that's amazing. Now, but imagine now a technology that assists in that and makes it a little bit easier on them to write and to really able to express themselves in an education setting without feeling like they can't express themselves fully. And also, it doesn't have to be in the classroom only. It can also be when you're sitting on your bed or in any other structure. And it also enhances, drawing and computer games, which allows the kids to also be a little bit more creative and a little bit more artistic if they feel like it. And sometimes when you're limited like that, you really can't be creative. So I really like this one. It's the JOSA 3, and it's sort of a sip and puff system. So if you want to check it out, just Google it and find out how it looks. It's quite cool looking.
But Viwe, I'm sorry, I got a little worried when you said sip and puff system. I was thinking about something else.
It sounds a bit. Lebika, don't do this.
But the cool thing is, when you have these technologies in certain classrooms, you can have people who are disabled and people who aren't disabled in one classroom, so it kind of makes it easier, so they can have the same learning experience. The one is just obviously using
doing things a bit differently. But the time, it's all about the timing as well. They don't have to have 2 hours working on one thing. They can quickly just jump on the next thing using the technology.
True. And another thing that's really cool is called the text-to-speech software. So it's TTS software, and it's designed to help children who have difficulties reading standard print. Okay, so common print disabilities can include blindness, dyslexia, or any type of visual impairment, learning a disability, or other physical condition that, affects the ability to read. However, other students can benefit from TTS technology, such as children that have autism, ADHD, or an intellectual disability. Now, the technology works by scanning and then reading the words to the student in a synthesized voice using a large number of speech sounds that make up words in any given context. With advances in speech synthesis, TTS technology is more accurate and lifelike than ever. Now, I know so many kids who have ADHD, have been diagnosed, and some of them obviously haven't been diagnosed, but you can see they're so hyperactive, and I mean, the TTS software is designed to help these kids, to help these children. And I'm not really sure, if we have these softwares in South Africa, in South African schools particularly. But I think it's just so great. It's such an amazing initiative or invention, if I can call it that, especially since there are so many kids who have a common print disabilities, who can't read common print, so I mean to get this and just to help them in their school and to help them read their schoolwork is just really great.
Exactly. And a lot of the time you find that reading impairments, because they're so difficult to see, like you can't really see that someone can't see. So kids get very shy and get very scared to tell the teacher that, I really can't see what's on the board. So even if a child is not necessarily diagnosed in your classroom, or you don't know perhaps if they are or they don't know that they have a problem, they're able to use this technology if it's available, and they're able to read and not necessarily have to feel inadequate in the classroom. Do you know what I mean? So the availability of this this technology not only helps the ones that are disabled, but also allows the ones that don't really have the courage to say it or have the courage to really articulate what it is that they're going through. When they obviously need to use the technology, the teachers can see, okay, there's a problem here. So it's a very good way to detect if people have a problem.
True.
Another new, ICT and AT sort of design is the Got It, which is specifically designed for students with dyslexia and other learning disorders who have difficulties with writing. Now, the name is inspired by the word "gotti," which is a constructed term which illustrates the irregularities in the English language. And since many spellings are counterintuitive, especially for those with dyslexia, Got It dedicates itself to assisting children and adults who struggle with writing accurately. Now, I don't know if you know anyone who has dyslexia. I don't. I think
I had a previous teacher who was dyslexic.
You're joking.
She was an English teacher.
No, you're lying.
I'm not lying.
That's so awkward, because dyslexia is about not being able to spell properly, because you can't you write backwards, or you write But anyway, this is a great one because a lot of people don't know that they have problems with dyslexia. Like, again, like I said to you, sometimes it's not the disability you can see. It's not the disability that has no fingers or no eyes, or you have to write with your mouth. It's the disability of saying, I can't put together the words in a way that makes sense to the next person. And when technology becomes so amazing that it can help people with this problem, we are really moving towards inclusive classrooms, classrooms that make children feel like they can get the best help and reach their best potential. And that's what it's about, right? That's what education is about. What's the point of preaching in front of a class that can't hear you, that can't see you, that doesn't even understand what you're saying, and can't even comprehend or understand it themselves so they can put it in their own words? So it's very important that we give kids the necessary tools to be the best they can be within education, whatever it is they want to be.
That's so true.
I mean, I'm sure someone helped your dyslexic English teacher to teach English, and I mean,
she was really good. Like, I was in a class and I got good marks.
How did you know?
She told us.
Wow,
she told us.
That's amazing. That's a beautiful story.
It really is. Mrs. Abrams, I love you and thank you for teaching me English. You were the best.
Oh, definitely.
But I think it's really great. Technology is an amazing thing. Technology really is, and it's always improving itself. It's always evolving. You know what I mean? I mean, a few years ago, no one really knew about TTS software. It was probably still thought of and not really implemented in schools, you know, but the fact that we have these innovations, we have the software that can help children who are dyslexic, children who do have ADHD, you know. So I think it's really, I mean, imagine 10 years from now, Viwe, the innovations that are
You'll
really
just have to like sit down and something's gonna do your homework for you, but you have to think it like,
exactly.
Okay, I think I went too far, but maybe maybe
I was actually talking to someone today. My brother, he's 11 years old. He wants to be an inventor. Okay, he wants to be an inventor when he's older. And
your brother, the one that you'd have now.
Okay. That I almost forgot about. But sorry, just a digression. So he wants to invent a machine that converts water to food. So he's 11 years old.
I love it.
I love it too. And
I would love. Does the water turn into any food you want it to be?
Yep. It turns into a McDonald's burger.
So you can potentially go to your mom and be like, "Can I have a glass of water?" Go to your room and then change it to McDonald's.
Yep.
That is the best invention ever.
It really is.
Who wants to drink water?
So true. But you know what? I mean, I think, you know, sometimes I look at him and he has all these amazing ideas, obviously, you know, and I'm just like, you're so bright. He's
so smart.
He is super smart. But you know what? These softwares, these inventions was probably just, someone probably told the person who invented the software, like, it's probably not going to happen. But hey, we are using it now. And you never know, hey, we might one day eat burgers from just putting a glass of water in a machine.
It's going to happen. And we know what it is. It's about making sure that a kid that's your brother's age, that is maybe unable to articulate that dream or say it, is able to say it, or is unable to write it down or express it, is able to express it using these technologies. And that's what we're trying to say, that, you know, technology is a great catalyst, especially within special needs learning and learning equipment.
You know, I'm not sure if you heard about the Intel Reader. Now, Intel Reader is a mobile handled device that uses TTS technology to read printed text aloud. So it features a high-resolution camera that captures printed text, converts it to digital text, and reads it to the user. Now, during playback, words are highlighted as they are read aloud, and the user can pause and have the device spell out highlighted words. Now, the available Intel portable capture station functions as a stand for the Intel Reader to easily and quickly capture text from books and other documents. So yes, I think I have, mine is not called the Intel Reader, obviously, but I have a Samsung phone, a Samsung Galaxy phone, right? And I have a certain setting on my phone where I can I think it's a hands-free mode. So if I get a message, it will read out my messages. It will tell me who's calling me. So I already have it. And obviously, I don't really use it because I don't want everyone knowing my messages.
Yeah.
But it's really...
Isn't that the worst? Has that ever happened to you?
Oh my word. No, it hasn't.
It has happened to me.
Serious?
When I was reading a text. It was actually a personal text. And then I pressed speak. You know, you get those options when you want to... I actually was trying to send it to a friend to show... To let them read, because you know how we are as women. And I was trying to copy it, Libika, and instead of pressing copy, I pressed speak, and I was in the middle of, like, it wasn't even like a crowded area where no one could hear. I was with friends, and it was quiet, and we were just sort of chilling and living, so everybody could hear. I had to run out of the room because I was oh my word. And here's this white, because I assume she's a white lady, she's a white accent, and she's just saying all my business out in public. So I know that text reader, it is a lot. You have to know.
It really is. And you know, the thing is, it's not soft.
Look,
she speaks so loud.
It's like the lady in the, what do you call that thing?
Oh, the Garmin lady.
The Garmin lady,
yes.
It's like that loud.
It's like very loud. But you know what?
That was so embarrassing.
It's useful, you know, to so many people. And I think this is just great. I mean, especially for people who can't really, blind people, you know, who can't see the text, who can't read anything. You know, you can have a phone and you can be blind. You don't even need to. You can type.
Or if you're deaf. Not...
You know, you can actually
that was wrong.
You can actually type a message.
But I meant
You can type a message, without really seeing what you're typing. The person will just say A, B, C,
Oh,
so that's really cool.
yes.
I think it's really amazing. Like, whoever thought about these things, like, hey, guys, we salute you. We really do. You're
No,
really
definitely.
making life so much easier for so many people.
Exactly. And the dream, remember, guys, the dream is not to say, and we're not saying there aren't any schools for people with disabilities in South Africa, because we've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of schools, and probably they use the same sort of intel and the same sort of tools, assistive tools and ICT technologies. We're saying that how do we make sure that they don't feel so not included within sort of normal classrooms. I use the word normal very sparingly, obviously. We're trying to make sure that they feel included and they feel like they're part of the team. So a few things that we thought of that we think will definitely get ICT really working well within classrooms is that if we ensure that all students with disabilities have available to them a free, appropriate public education that emphasizes special education and related services designed to meet their unique needs and prepare them for further education, employment, and independent living. Also, we want to make sure that people design and develop special education programs and instructions to meet the unique needs of a student with a disability that is provided at no cost to the child or the child's parents, and to ensure that these programs are provided in the classroom, in the home, and in institutions and in other settings. We also want to make sure that people, the education system, establishes training programs to disabled instructors and develop personal training, classroom training, e-learning, and online cinemas according to need and preference. And this goes on and on and on. But what we really want to say is that these collaborations within the ICT space and people with disabilities happens not only at a primary school or a high school level, but also tertiary school level. So it's very important that we advocate for technology to really change the landscape of education, especially for people with special needs.
True. And you know what? I mean, the worst thing is, having a child who has a special need and you do not have the money, to really look after that child, especially, I mean, we know health costs are excruciatingly high, if I can put it that way, so I think like I mentioned earlier, I'm not too sure if there are any South African schools that are using. I'm sure there are, but yes, I think it would also be really great if we could have, I know that using the software is probably super expensive,
exactly,
so if we can just, I don't know, see if we can collaborate somehow and get these tools to rural schools in rural areas, to help those kids. Because the worst thing is, I mean, you don't want to be blind and you're 10 years old and you can't go to school because there's no school for you. Your parents can't afford a school for you.
And the school can't... they can't tend to your needs.
Yes. I mean, there's so many schools. I mean, I didn't go to a school that could tend to the needs of children with special needs, So I just think that if we could just somehow collaborate, I don't know what we're going to do, but just get some of these tools to schools in rural areas, it would be really great. It would really, really be great. I mean, I don't have I wear spectacles.
Yes.
So, I mean...
So you're disabled?
Yeah.
I joke.
My eyesight is very poor.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was also in school, I mean, when I was like in primary school, I couldn't really see properly on the whatever the teacher wrote on the board, right? So now we were separated according to our surnames, and my surname starts with R, so I was right at the back of the classroom, and sometimes I'd sit right in front of the teacher would obviously understand, and I'd sit in front of the classroom and I would still not be able to see, but we couldn't afford spectacles at that time, until I was like much older. So, I mean, it obviously affected, the notes I took.
Your experience in the classroom.
And I really don't want anyone else to go through that. It's really a terrible thing. So I think we should just try and find a way that we can just collaborate or help, children in rural areas and just help these children with spectacles or with software that will help them, take in the work easier.
Yes, and at the end of the day, people with disabilities, children with disabilities, should have the same rights to participate in the information society just as any other child.
Yeah.
And ICT should be used as the tool that can help them sort of overcome the barriers they face in education, the workplace, and social life. And again, what we're trying to say is education is obviously the first step, the first thing that will get a child to realize what they maybe want to do and what they dream of doing, whether it is turning water into McDonald's or being a pilot or whatever the case may be. But we need to be able to let that sort of freedom come to them as naturally as it comes to able-bodied kids. So if like you said, collaboration with the right corporates, collaboration with the right institutions within ICT and AT, and schools must also be receptive. And also remember, the teachers also need to learn how to engage kids with special needs, and that's also another big part of the education process. So that's it, really.
Yes. And if you do know of schools that are using, these kind of tools, please let us know. And also, if you are a school who or if you have a child who really can't afford healthcare, let us know. And we could pull a few strings and ask some people in high places to help you,
because we know people in high places.
Yeah. But yes, no, really, this is a sensitive topic, and it's
definitely
really sad that so many kids cannot go to certain schools because of them having special needs. It's not something you really choose to have.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But okay, please let us know whatever you would. If you talk to us, please. We are always listening. We're always reading. We are open to anything you want to say to us. So at Social One TV on Twitter and at TV_CSI on Instagreasy,
and also Social TV on Facebook. Yay. And I know it's the easiest one, but it's the only one. Don't forget to use your hashtags BrandLive, Social Show. And also, I think they should actually, if you are speaking to a specific topic, you can also hashtag that. So if it is, for instance, today we spoke about special needs and learning disabilities, also hashtag something like that, so we know which show you're talking about and which question needs which answers on which day.
True.
So it'll make our lives a little bit easier.
True.
But we're very, very excited to hear what you guys have to say. And or if you have an innovation, if you have an innovation and you're sitting on it and you have a game or something that might help a special needs student, that would be amazing.
Really.
Actually, I was at the SAB Innovation Awards,
yeah.
And they had really amazing people who came up with new innovations that were amazing for people with disabilities, actually. And the winner was actually a guy I knew from Wits. I really didn't know him from class, but I used to see him every single sort of day because he was in the same year as me. And he created these educational toys for children with disabilities to sort of express themselves. And I'm not sure how it looked like Lego. It looked like a Lego sort of show, but it was like a different way of kids engaging with the sort of toys that they could enhance their creativity, they could enhance the way that they thought, the way that they are. And I found that so amazing. And he won 1.2 million out of that innovation. So that's just to say, guys, if you have an innovation for a special needs or for anything that can make someone's life easier, say it, bring it up, make it happen. And you don't know, SAB could be looking for you.
And you could win over R1 million. I mean, gee whiz, that's a lot of money.
Imagine.
Girl.
And I'm like, hey, do you remember me? It's like, no.
We need to put on our thinking caps, Viwe, and we really need to think of a great innovation that's going to help, kids with special needs.
No, we do.
Yeah, we really do. And I think, yes, I'm going to actually speak to my brother and hear what he has to say. Huh?
Your brother is the brainchild behind whatever we do. You must know that.
He really is. But yes, please let us know on social media. And don't forget, hashtags are very important because that's how you just search it and that's how we really get to know who you are and what you're talking about. So hashtag BrandLive, hashtag Social Show. Yes, until tomorrow, we are out.
Totsiens.
Have you ever thought of the power of talk radio and what it can do for your business? Well, brandlive.co.za has been developed with that in mind and brings you an international first. The brandlive.co.za internet radio platform gives businesses a new voice and opportunity to change the conventional communication platform that a newsletter represents. Facilitated by leading industry experts, the BrandLive.co.za platform offers a high-quality digital talk radio medium for companies to communicate their new developments, create customer-centric radio content, develop an added value in terms of client relations, and create a better flow in terms of feedback and interactivity to their existing customer base and market. Simultaneously, the platform can also open a brand or business to a new group of potential customers. Technology is constantly shaping the way we communicate and consume information, which presents your business with a simple and affordable way to address your customer or client in a modern, multifaceted setting. Internet radio is now available for your business, a powerful corporate branded tool to complement your existing communication platforms. In today's competitive market, you need to use every tool available to retain and cultivate loyal customers. Online corporate branded radio offers you an exciting range of communication tools uniquely tailored to your brand and addressing your communication challenges. With the BrandLive.co.za radio platform, you have the power to brand your business in the way you like. You are able to develop content with your own production team and have the opportunity to interact with your customers in real time on issues such as quality assurance, customer service, and any other operational matters. BrandLive.co.za. Now your brand has a voice.